You know what's worse than failing? Never starting at all. Because at least failure teaches you something. But when you spend your whole life preparing to begin, you wake up one day and realize you've been lying to yourself. And by then, it might be too late. There was a small coastal town where everyone knew everyone, the kind of place where your reputation followed you like a shadow. In that town lived a man named Daniel. He was 28, sharp-minded, always reading, always planning. He had notebooks full of ideas, business plans, sketches, goals written in neat handwriting with dates next to them. His friends called him the Dreamer. Daniel worked at a fish market. Every morning at 5 a.m., he'd help his father clean the stalls, arrange the ice, lay out the catch. The smell of salt and fish never left his clothes. His hands were always cold and rough. But Daniel didn't see himself there forever. He had a plan. He wanted to open a small cafe by the harbor. He'd drawn the layout 100 times. He knew the menu by heart. He'd even chosen the color of the chairs. Soon, he'd tell himself, when I save enough, when the timing is right, when I'm ready. Years passed like that. One winter, a new family moved into town. They opened a bakery near the docks. It wasn't fancy, just bread, coffee, simple pastries, but it was warm. People loved it. Daniel watched from across the street while gutting fish. His father noticed. He was a quiet man, never said much, but one evening, as they closed up, he asked, "Still thinking about that cafe?" "Of course," Daniel said. "I'm just waiting for the right moment." His father nodded slowly. Then he said something he'd never forget. "Your grandfather used to say that waiting for the right moment is just fear wearing a nice mask." Daniel didn't respond. He went home that night feeling something heavy in his chest. The next morning, he woke up late. He'd been doing that more often lately, sleeping in, telling himself he deserved rest, that he'd start tomorrow. His father didn't say anything, but Daniel saw the disappointment in his eyes. Months passed by. The bakery across the street expanded. They added tables outside, hired 2 more people. Daniel still had his notebooks, still had his plans, but the pages were starting to yellow. One day, a teenage boy came to the fish market. He couldn't have been older than 17. He asked Daniel's father if he could rent a small corner of the stall on weekends to sell homemade hot sauce. "I'm saving up for culinary school," he explained. "I know it's not much, but I have to start somewhere." Daniel's father smiled. "You can use the corner for free. Just bring me a bottle when you make extra." The boy's face lit up. He started that Saturday. Daniel watched him, this kid with his handwritten labels and mismatched bottles. He wasn't waiting for perfect. He wasn't waiting for ready. He was just doing it. Something broke inside Daniel that day. He went home and opened his oldest notebook, the one from 7 years ago, the cafe plan, the dream that had been soon for so long it had become never. He sat there for hours, just staring at his own handwriting. All those plans, all that time. His father found him like that, tears running down his face. "I'm afraid. What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I'm not good enough?" His father sat down beside him. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said something he'd never forget. "You will fail, probably more than once. People might laugh. You might not be good enough at first. But you know what's worse? Dying with all these plans still in a notebook, wondering what if." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. But this time, it wasn't because of dreams. It was because of regret, the kind that sits on your chest and makes it hard to breathe. He thought about all the mornings he slept in, all the excuses, all the tomorrows that never came. At 4 a.m., he got up. He didn't have money for a cafe. He didn't have the perfect plan, but he had something else now. He had clarity. He started small, a cart, just coffee and 3 types of sandwiches. He parked it near the harbor where the fishermen gathered before dawn. The first week was brutal. He burned the coffee, forgot ingredients, made barely enough to cover costs, but he didn't stop. The second week was slightly better. He learned the fishermen's names, started making the coffee the way they liked it. Third week, they started bringing their friends. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't the cafe with the colored chairs, but it was real. It was happening. The teenage boy with the hot sauce stopped by one morning. He bought coffee and said, "I heard you finally did it. That's so cool." Daniel almost laughed. Finally! After 7 years of planning, someone thought he finally did it. But you know what? He had. 6 months later, Daniel had saved enough to rent a small space. It wasn't by the harbor like he had imagined. It was smaller, darker, but it was his. He opened the cafe on Tuesday. His father was there, the fishermen came, even the bakery owners from across the street stopped by. It wasn't perfect, the chairs weren't the color he'd picked, the menu was different, but none of that mattered. Because the difference between a dream and a goal is simple. A dream stays in your head. A goal gets messy, gets started, gets done. Daniel still has those old notebooks. He keeps them in a drawer. Sometimes he looks at them and thinks about all those years he spent preparing instead of doing. He doesn't regret the dream, he regrets the waiting. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. You'll never feel ready. The timing will never be perfect. You'll always find a reason to wait. And while you're waiting, life doesn't pause. It moves forward. Other people start, other people fail, other people learn, other people succeed, and you're still there, holding your perfect plan, waiting for the perfect moment. The saddest stories aren't about people who tried and failed. They're about people who never tried at all. Daniel learned that the hard way, 7 years too late, but he learned. The question is, how much time are you willing to waste before you do?